Mic snobs absolutely love to throw around terms like dark mic all the time. It's usually coupled with terms like muddy or even distorted. But what does a true dark microphone sound like? Well, it would sound like this. This is the Vanguard V13, and it's the darkest but cleanest and richest sounding microphone I have ever used. Not gonna lie, this thing is a work of art. It has a gorgeous finish on it with the heft you would expect from a tube microphone. Only thing on the body that you need to know about are the two switches. You have a high pass filter and a pad. Very nice presentation on this one, and yeah, it comes with a wooden box for protection. The switch and power supply matches the same aesthetic and just adds to it. Very nice. Also, you will notice the 9-stage puller pattern on here. We'll go through that in a bit. As for the shock mount, this thing, well, it's up for the task of holding this thing up. Let's just say that. This ain't a stick in front of your face streaming mic. This thing is massive, but not a single thing I can point to is problematic on the build. This is a multi-pattern tube condenser microphone. It's 20 Hz to 20 kHz, has a sensitivity of neg 35 dBV per Pascal, a max SPL of 134 dB or 144 dB with the pad, equivalent noise of around 13 dB A-weighted, which is actually quite low for a tube, and a signal-to-noise ratio of around 81 dB A-weighted. And of course, you have that pad switch of neg 10 dB and the high pass at 125 Hz with a gentle attenuation of 6 dB per octave. Now for the proximity effect test of the Vanguard V13. This is me speaking about 5 inches off the front of the capsule. Now I'm speaking about 5 inches off the side of the capsule. And now I'm speaking about 5 inches off the rear of the capsule. Now let's take a look at the figure 8. This is me speaking directly into the front of the capsule. And as I turn it around, you will notice a dead spot right in the middle. And that's intentional because as you move around to the rear of the microphone, you will have another lobe of sensitivity, almost like the front. Doesn't matter front or back, whichever one you're talking into. Now we have omnidirectional. Now as I turn the microphone, you will notice that my voice doesn't really dip off as I move around. You will hear from the back, from the side, and from the front. It all sounds the same. And I have to say, one of the cool things about this is you can switch to in between these polar patterns. So if you wanted cardioid, but you wanted just a little bit of omni to get a little bit more ambiance from around the room, you can switch to in between cardioid and omni. Or if you wanted the same thing between cardioid and figure 8, you can do that as well. So you can just open up sensitivity around the microphone at will, it seems. Now let's take a look at the plosive rejection on this microphone, and once again, I apologize, Dylan. This is his microphone. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Now let's take a look at the proximity effect test of the Vanguard V13. This is me speaking about 5 inches off the front of the capsule. And now I'm about 1 inch off the front of the capsule. 5 inches, 1 inch. Let's start this out with probably the darkest microphone I own. This is the Neat Mic's King B2. And as I switch back and forth between the Vanguard V13 and the Neat Mic's King B2, what do you think? This is a relatively cheap microphone, and this is, in relative terms, not. Which one do you like? Now let's do some testing of a smooth mic. Okay, this is a relatively smooth microphone, not overly dark, kind of balanced, if you will. This is the RE20 up against the Vanguard V13. Let's see, what do you think as we go between the Vanguard, which is a completely different microphone from the RE20. Really, I'm just trying to showcase dark, smooth, and exactly what it means for the characteristics of a microphone. Okay, what do you like? RE20, Vanguard V13. Now we have what I would consider a very balanced microphone. This is the SM58 up against the Vanguard V13. Which one do you like as I go between them? Now, I find we're going to be getting a little brighter and brighter as we go, just to see exactly the chasm of exactly how bright and how dark these microphones compare to each other. Now we have the Vanguard V13 up against the V7 by SE. This is a more bright, articulate microphone that SE released compared to the SM58. This is going to be interesting to see the differential between a microphone like the V13 and the V7. There's only 5 in between these. Okay, this is the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure, and this is the Vanguard V13. As I go between them, how jarring is it from this super dark mic to the super bright mic? Now, the Lewitt is actually quite smooth, and I find that's an interesting comparison, the smoothness of the high end and the buttery smoothness of the low end of the Vanguard. Which one do you like as I go between them? Now we have the Elgato Wave DX, a $99 microphone that I really don't like, but is also the brightest microphone, and this is the Vanguard V13. Definitely not distorted, and very, very warm in comparison. Now, I asked you before, how jarring is it as I move between the microphones? This being the Elgato Wave DX, and this being the Vanguard V13. I mean, this is a buttery, smooth microphone, and the hopes of trying to find cons here is a bit hard. That said, perhaps one thing you can say is how dark it is, meaning probably won't be your main everyday mic, but more of a specialized mic for specific instrumentation. On the pro side, I mean, this thing is almost the perfect mic for anything that is bright, like a saxophone or a trumpet, or even if you just want some dark tones to a song or a voice. Perhaps situational, but in that specific situation, you have a beast of a microphone. And with these polar patterns, the versatility of this microphone is it's just another bonus. Well, I mean, I end all of the videos with this specific question, right? And yeah, this is a fantastic microphone. And if you need something like this, maybe you record a lot of horns, sure, this mic will be a fantastic addition to your arsenal. And at its price, it isn't completely out of reach for an aspiring studio. All in all, I have to say, one of the best sounding character microphones that I've ever used. I absolutely love it. And I think we're going to use this microphone in a song. Anyhow, if you want to check out the last time I worked with the tube mic, check it out here.